And we are live for round 11 of F2 of the Ero Championship here in Imola for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Welcome if you're tuning in. And the qualifying has already happened. We're jumping straight into the race. And I haven't seen the qualifying myself, so it will be a surprise for me too, who will be on pole position and the rest of the grid. As you see, full wet are certainly wet conditions. So this will most certainly be an interesting race. For the people that don't know me, I'm Mike from F1 and I'm doing commentary for the first time for Ero now. Done commentary for different leagues, but the first time now for Ero. As we wait for a few more seconds to go green at Imola. At least for the formation lap. So it's Liam on pole position with Jericho besides him on the front row in the Williams. Then it's Sunset Beach Bar, Jelani, Otapa the top 5. And there are 17 runners here today. Let's just turn on some telemetry, lap data and the track map. 32 laps. And according to what I've heard, it will be a full wet race for the entire 32 laps. But let's see if that holds true. Of course, the real-life Emilia Romagna Grand Prix was wet as well, and that proved to be a spectacle. So let's hope to see such a spectacle as well in Ero F2. As we look to the number 82 McLaren, Liam, who's aiming for the perfect getaway into turn 1. I haven't seen F2 a lot myself, but it's still fun to see a different roster of drivers taking on each other and going for that win. And we're waiting for the cars to line up on the grid. As we see the predicted pit stop strategy, a 0 stop is in the recommended strategy and is probably the fastest strategy out there. The 1 stop onto a new set of wets is the second fastest strategy. But let's see what the drivers will do. Who will head first into the Tamburello chicane? We'll see in a few moments time as the final cars line up on the grid. And it's Lupus and the AlphaTauri, final of the running cars, that lines up now as we wait for the lights to go green here in Italy. And there seems to be a bug because Mick is currently leading. No, that has resolved itself. It's 3, 4, 5 lights on. And the lights are out and they are underway. Liam seems to have a good start, but Jericho has an even better start and is already bypassed by Sunset Beach Bar Jelani into 3rd position. Sunset Beach Bar in 2nd place, Jericho in 1st position. So an ideal start for the Williams. Then it's Otapa in P4, Wagner in P5. But Jericho got the perfect start as Liebenau is already out of the session and has retired. Then Sunset Beach Bar now in a battle with Jelani. Can Sunset hold on? And it's a virtual safety car. So the retirement of Liebenau has caused a virtual safety car. And let's hope no driver will get a drive-through penalty. But Jericho getting the perfect getaway. And Liam down to P14. Does he have damage? Yes, he has damage. Left front end plate is missing. So the McLaren having a terrible start. already into P14 from pole position. And he will most certainly box for a new front wing. And his teammate Mats in P13. McLaren not looking good here at Imola. And the virtual safety car might be ending anytime soon. So we'll wait for the cars to go on the power once again. Let's look to the most successful drivers on the first lap. And we see as the lights go green once again that the Alpine is trying to make a move on Sunset, but that doesn't pay off. But Jericho gets a clear lead at the top. Then Sunset, Jelani, Otapa and Wagner. And there already seems to be a gap between Sniper Arctic and Wagner of 1 second. Of course, no DRS enabled here at Imola because it's a wet race. Joel Mir on the back of Lupus. Lupus having an awesome start from the back of the grid. And now Wagner getting past Otapa as well. Otapa relegated down to P5 by Wagner. As Jelani is very close to the back of Sunset Beach Bar. But looking at the positions gained, yeah, both drivers from the back of the grid, as Jelani goes a bit wide, have made a pretty good start. So it's Davey in P9 and in P10 it's Lupus, both making up 7 positions on the opening lap. And then the big loser of the first lap is, as we said, Liam in P16. Has boxed and has lost a lot of time from it. And now it's Sunset, hoping to gain some time on Jericho. But Jericho is already 1 second in front as he sets the fastest lap time as well, at 27.8, immediately beaten by a few 100ths of a second by Wagner in the Haas. And Joelmir once again on the back of Lupus. Lupus had an amazing start, but Joelmir wants to get the position back, and he does. He moves himself up into P10, the points paying positions, and Lupus relegated down to P11. And Sniper Arctic looking at the back of Otapa as well. Sniper locking up a bit at the Tosa hairpin. And going through Piratella, an awesome corner in the dry. You have a lot of grip here, but in the wet, of course, that's a different story. Davey looking at the back of Mick, 3 temps behind Mick in the Ferrari. Has made an awesome start and hopes to continue his work. Waitinho in P13, not having a good start, as well as Ken, RGB, YT and Liam. But Thomas once again on the back of Sniper Arctic. Now can he make a move maybe into the Tamburello chicane, as Jericho once again sets the fastest lap of any driver, 27.1 in the Williams racing car. And you see that Thomas is pushing, but he can't get any closer to Sniper in front. So he keeps the position for now, as the first time penalty of today has been handed out to Jelani, as Jelani once again gets a time penalty, but also is overtaken by Wagner. Wagner once again making up a position, and now into P3. So awesome start by Wagner. And now he hopes to trouble the top 2. And his first task is to get closer to Sunset in the Aston Martin. Now Jelani once again on his original starting position, as well as Otapa, as Super Thomas has made a mistake. No, at Piratella, and it's a virtual safety car once again. So once again a virtual safety car here at Imola. As Super Thomas has been, does he have damage? Let's look at the front wing. There does not appear to be any damage, but there might be some slight damage to his AlphaTauri that can't be seen on camera. So lap 4, and we've already had 2 virtual safety cars, as the clouds seem to get darker and darker and the rain seems to be intensifying. And let's look to the penalties. Will someone get a drive-through penalty for exceeding the delta when the virtual safety car ends? Let's hope for not. As any moment now, the virtual safety car might end. And Thomas is into the pit lane. It seems, yes, he is into the pit lane, so he did have damage. And he is changing that wing. And now we go green once again. Jericho getting a good start, but not getting a good start is Otapa. Otapa spinning in the Mercedes on the restart, overtaken by 3, 4, 5 cars. And now into P12. Oh, that's an awful restart by the Mercedes driver as Super Thomas gets out of the pits in P16, now behind Liam and RGB YT. As Davey is close to Mick once again in the Ferrari. Can Davey now make a move on the Ferrari? He is pushing his ERS almost 100%, but he can't do it yet. As he goes a bit wide at the chicane. And now there is once again a little bit of distance between the two drivers. Mats also looking at Lupus in P9. So his awesome start continues here. Can Mats overtake Lupus? He is pushing his ERS as well as Lupus. But Mats, of course, has the slipstream. Can Mats make the overtake into the Tamburello? No, he cannot. But it is close. And one driver having perfect sight of this battle is Wojtinho in the Ferrari in P11. One position outside of the points paying positions. And the McLaren drivers, where they at the start of this race were down a few positions. Mats now into the points paying position, so he has moved up as Davey is close to Mick once again. Not two temps between these drivers, but Aqua Minarella seems to be a difficult point at the circuit for Davey as he struggles to hold on to the gap as Liam and RGBYT are battling. Is Liam going for the overtake into Piratella? No, he is not. And has to stay behind the Red Bull, the special liveried Red Bull. But who are side by side are Wagner and Sunset Beach Bar. Wagner, having closed up the gap to the Aston Martin, has to stay behind. But how long can Sunset hold that up? Now, Wojtinho getting past the McLaren of Mats and Otapa at once. So Wojtinho making up 2 positions in the span of 1 corner. Davey also making a move on the Ferrari of Mick that had been coming for some time, as there's once again a virtual safety car. What has happened this time? I can't see anything on the map. As the overtakes were happening left, right and center, the virtual safety car suddenly gets caught up. That means we'll have to wait for some more battles to happen on track. Okay, so at the moment 3 drivers with time penalties: Jelani, Mick and Ken in P13. Once again, the risk with the virtual safety car is that some drivers will get a drive-through penalty by speeding over the delta that is allowed during the virtual safety car. And no driver seems to have done that, so they're all on the way once again. And Wagner just a little bit too much back, as Davey now can make the move on Mick, is besides Mick, but is in front of Mick, going towards Tamburello. Let's look at Mick's perspective. They do touch on the straight, but Mick has the outside line. He goes for the outside. That doesn't work. Davey makes the move and into P6. And now Wojtinho on the back of Lupus, so he is making up some positions. Can he make the move on the Alpha Tower driver though? These four cars just in a bit of a train. Zappa, Mats, Wojtinho, Lupus. Can any one of them make a move? Through Aqua Minerale, awesome corner to drive. But of course you have to be wary of the time, of the track limits that will grant you a time penalty if you get 3 or more. As Mats Huisman has done just that. He has gotten a track limit and that has given him a 3-second time penalty. Now let's look at the perspective of Wojtinho. Can he make a move on Lupus? He's on the rear, 5/10 behind and is using his ERS, but Lupus is enough in front, I think. He is not using his ERS, it seems. And Wojtinho did not have enough pace to get past the AlphaTauri driver, so he stays in 10th position. And Wagner, his charge has stopped, as he is now 6/10 behind Sunset and does not appear to have the overspeed on the Aston Martin driver. But the two Dutchmen battling hard here at Emilia. And Wagner is determined to get past the green liveried car as fast as possible. And in the rain you gain a lot more of your ERS back, so that means the drivers can push a little bit more ERS than they're used to when they're driving in the dry. As you might see at the left hand side of the screen, as Jericho sets a 27.0, fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. He is on 55%, 52% ERS, but he can gain that back very easily as Sunset heads wide into Tamburello. Now there's a chance for Wagner. He is side by side heading to the Villeneuve chicane, and he is ahead of the Aston Martin of Sunset after Sunset made a mistake. But Wagner going a bit wide himself. Now it's Sunset on the outside of Tosa, where we saw Magnussen and Leclerc going side by side. It's the Haas in front of Wagner, and he is into P2 as Wojtinho and Lupus are battling. That didn't seem to pay off for Wojtinho as they're going 3 wide into Tosa. Otapa wanting to get in the battle as well. He's relegated down to P12, but can he go around the outside of Piratella? Yes, he can. No, he locks up, and that means Otapa loses a position to Wojtinho. But does he lose out to Ken? No, he does not. And now Mats Huisman getting a better exit out of Aqua Minerale than the AlphaTauri of Lupus and getting past Lupus into P9. As Jericho once again sets the pace here in the Grand Prix. First 29.9. As Mats is on a charge as well, as Mick goes into the pit lane. So what is Mick doing? Might he go for the intermediate tire? Let's go on board with Mick. Now let's go on board with Lupus, because from that point of view we can see that Wojtinho is getting past him. So Wojtinho into P9, but let's head back to Mick. Yes, Mick is putting on a set of the intermediates. So is it time for the intermediates? It does seem pretty wet with still the puddles on the track, But Mick is trying something, is gambling for the intermediate tires. And that might pay out for him as Jelani gets a 3-second time penalty going wide at Aqua Minerale. And that means Sniper might get the position if he stays within 3 seconds. Davey being more than 3 seconds behind Jelani cannot profit from the time penalty if the checkered falls at this moment. But there's still a lot of laps to go. 21 to be exact. And now Wagner setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So he is gaining on Jericho. And fast. Because Jericho's fastest lap time up till that point was at 26.9. Wagner goes 6 tenths quicker than Jericho on the last lap. So that means 6 tenths gained already. And possibly more this lap. So let's keep an eye on Wagner in the Haas. He might go for a move on Jericho in a few laps time. 2.4 back at the moment. Let's see what he can do. He's only 20% of ERS left as Liam now sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 26.2. Liam is in P13. Locking up his left front into Tamburello. And the cars that are pretty close on track are still 12 to P10. And looking at the ERS levels from Ken almost 100% of ERS left. Yes, 100% at the exit of Aqua Minerale. Otapa also having a lot, and Lupus as well, so they can push as they'd like. Oitinho though, only 40% of ERS left and pushing hard, it seems, to get out of the slipstream range of Lupus. 4 penalties till now. Oh, as is yellow sector 3, yellow sector 3, and it's Lupus! Lupus, no! And it's a full safety car here at Imola. Lupus crashing at Rivazza, and that means the awesome recovery drive from the AlphaTauri driver has come to an end here in lap 13, which has resulted in a safety car, and Liam is into the pit lane. Of course, that doesn't matter for the drivers leading the race because they can pass the safety car as Liam is going for the intermediate. So maybe it is time for the intermediate tire as more cars are going into the pit lane. RGB YT is on the intermediates. Super Thomas is on the intermediates as the rain seems less intense than it was a few laps ago. So this might be the right tire to be on from lap 13 onwards. Okay, so expect the entire field to box, with Jericho the first of the leading cars to box in his Williams. Yes, the top 3 pitting, and I don't expect anything different from the entire top 10 as we have a pretty wide screen. I don't know why that is. Okay, so we're back. Yes, top 6 into the pit lane. All onto the intermediate tire. So will Jericho hold on to his lead, or will the charging Wagner be able to take the lead away from Jericho? The lead that Jericho had is now cut down to only a few tenths due to the safety cars, so Wagner might have a few opportunities to get past Jericho. As I'd like to hear from you, who do you think is going to win this race here at Imola? Post it in the comments. And the 3-second time penalty even more crucial now for the drivers. Because with the gaps eliminated between them, that means it will cost a lot more positions. But of course, still a lot of laps to go. Not even halfway, 18 laps to go. So Vincent asking, are you Dutch? Yes, I'm Dutch. I think you can hear it from the accent. So Sunset is the guest from Vincent that is going to win the Grand Prix. Sunset at the moment in P3, a few laps ago, had been overtaken by Wagner. But still anything possible. Liam now able to get back to the pack, so he's in P13. Has to gain 3 more positions to get back into the points paying positions from pole position. Let's look at the positions gained. Davey gaining 10 positions. That's the most of any driver, and losing the most positions is of course Liam, who went from pole position down to P13. As he is now behind Mick in the Ferrari. And the entire field now bunched up behind the safety car, so I expect the safety car to go into the pit lane this lap, and we might see the notification when we head into the 2 Rivazza corners at the end of the circuit, or after the Variante Alta Chicane, where we are heading to now. Let's go on board with Jericho, because he'll be the first one to get on the power as the safety car is in this lap. Okay, so we're going to race once again here at Imola. Jericho is leading from Wagner, from Sunset, Jelani in P4, then it's Arctic in P5, Davey in P6, Joel Mir in P7, Mats in P8 in the McLaren, then it's Watinho in the Ferrari, and then it's Otapa as... Okay, there's a bit of funky business going on at the back of the grid, but let's not focus on that, because Jericho is... Yes, he is already on the power, so he heads to the first corner in the lead, with Wagner behind. And everyone seems to get away well. No positions gained, no positions lost at the start, at the restart. But Sunset is looking at Wagner. 3 tenths behind the Haas driver. And the wets driving very differently to the intermediate tires. As we immediately see purple sectors being set. First by Sunset, then a driver behind Sunset, because his purple sector immediately got taken away. So not only are they going quicker, they react a lot differently to the track than the wet tires. And that might be something to watch out for, because some drivers might be better on the intermediate tires than on the wet tires. Davey is close to Arctic, 2 tenths behind, and was not able to make a move out of Aqua Minerale. And is still behind. Now Sunset a bit farther behind from Wagner, and Wagner gaining on Jericho once again. He's still leading in the Williams. Wagner didn't get a good exit, as Jericho immediately sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 24.5. That's 2.5 seconds faster than we've seen before. 2 seconds to 2.5 seconds faster. And Liam is beginning his recovery drive. by first going around the outside of Mick. Can he do it? He gets over the curbs, but he is ahead. Where's the Ferrari? The Ferrari is pushed onto the grass. Can Thomas get ahead as well? Yes, he does. Will Mick hang around on the outside? No, he won't. So Thomas making up a position, and Liam as well. Okay, so Liam, I think, pushed him a little bit wide, but I think there was nothing else Liam could have done with the curbs at the first corner. So, oh no, Thomas getting a 3-second time penalty, as we saw him getting his third check limit on screen. Ken picking up the pace a little bit on the intermediate tires. And these conditions are suiting him better, I think, than the wet conditions. At least it looks like it. He is close to Ken as Jericho once again goes fastest of all on the inters. 24.222. Wagner still close behind, following. Much close behind Joel Mir as well. Very challenging opening sector of the Grand Prix. Challenging first sector to drive. It's extremely rewarding when you get it right. Wagner now 4 attempts behind Jericho. Jericho though on 60% ERS. Wagner has half the amount of ERS that Jericho has at the moment, so he's around 30%. But it's important to get in front. Track position is very important here around Imola. DV on the back of Sniper, not able to get past, but Ken on the back of Otapa as Jelani once again gets 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Now Ken 3 attempts behind Otapa. Can he make a move on the main straight? Looking at the gap for P1 as well, as we're heading back to the fight for P1, as the gap of 4 tenths of a second just seems a little bit too much. But Liam is trying to get past Ken. Ken looking quicker on the inters than he was on the wets, but maybe no match for Liam. Liam, one of the faster guys of the grid, it seems, getting pole position. And now, looking strong in his recovery drive, but look at the level of his battery. He only has 15% of ERS left, so overtaking Ken might be tricky for him. As the gap between Wagner and Jericho is not very big, it's only 4 tenths of a second. And Wagner seems to love these conditions. But can he prove it? Can he make the move on the Williams driver? And can Jericho feel the pressure from the Haas? Looking behind Davey, close behind Arctic. Going to Rivazza 1. No, he can't make the move yet, but he gets into the back of him. Don't think that was any substantial amount of contact. Wagner not pushing anymore. Jericho not pushing either. So he can keep the lead by maintaining his level of ERS. And Wagner has to push to get close to Jericho. And he's getting very good run through the first sector. As Davey is now around the outside of Arctic, this battle seemed like it was coming a few moments ago. They make contact, but they live to tell the tale. So, a bit of wheel banging caused Sniper and Davey to go onto the grass, and luckily both drivers are able to continue. As Mats gets a 3-second time penalty. Liam, meanwhile, more than a second now behind Ken, so losing a few temps. Might that be a mistake? I don't know. But Ken is putting pressure on the Mercedes driver. Jericho pushing and pushing, and now Wagner almost outside of a second. It's close to the second. And no, it's still at 8 temps. So still within a second the gap. But Sunset now gaining on Wagner. So by pushing his ERS earlier than Jericho and Sunset, as Jolmir gets a 3-second time penalty, as does Meg, by pushing earlier than Sunset and Jericho, has Wagner maybe made a strategic error, because Sunset now has his full battery to use against Wagner. So might he be able to make a move on the Haas? Oh, he almost loses the car, now is outside of the second. As he even locks up into the Variante Alta. And Ken can't seem to get past the Mercedes, even though the gap has been around 3 tenths of a second the entire time. Let's look on board. Wagner now sets the fastest lap. So does he have the pace after all to get past Jericho? Or is Jericho just controlling the gap in front? He's in P1. He only has to control the pace from Wagner to win the race if nothing weird happens here. Ken, not being able to complete a move on Otapa, stays behind for one more lap at least. Liam stuck in P12 as Otapa now goes wide out of Tosa. Does that give an opportunity to Ken? No, it does not, but the gap has come down to less than 3 tenths of a second. And the gap that is coming down as well, Wagner versus Jericho. If Wagner can get the right run on Jericho, this might be a battle that won't last very long, but will be an effective one for Wagner. He is almost into the gearbox of the Williams. Now heads out of the final corner on the power and does not get a good run. No, and it seems Wagner has to stay behind for at least one more lap as well. As you can see the difference between the lines of Wagner and Jericho. Wagner taking a lot more curb, which allows him to take a lot more speed into the corner. That means he is gaining all the time on the Williams driver. And Sunset looming behind. If something to these two front runners happens, he is there to pick up the pieces. Now 1.8 behind Wagner, so Sunset doesn't have the pace, it seems, to keep up with the front two. Ken, 11 seconds, and P11, 4 tenths of a second behind Otapa, still. Hasn't tried to make a move and isn't able to make a move on the Mercedes. So the Mercedes in the final points paying position. Ken not without a single point at the moment. This gap in front comes down to 5 tenths. And we see Wagner has only 13% of ERS left, and I think the track is drying up. It looks like it has stopped raining, Yes, it definitely has stopped raining. So, might any of the drivers go to the soft tire? I think the soft will hold on easily. So, don't expect any medium or hards. But, is there a chance any of these front runners will go to the soft tire? If I was someone behind these guys, like 5, 6, 7, 8, why not gamble a box for the soft tire that might get you ahead of a lot of cars if the gamble pays off? We don't know how the track feels, what the track conditions are. We only see that it is getting drier and that there might be some guys pitting for the soft tire. Will Jericho do it? No, he won't. Wagner won't as well. Sunset continues on, Jelani continues on, Sniper continues on. All drivers continuing on their way. No one pitting as of yet. So all drivers staying out. The track is drying up all the time. As these two guys continue their battle into lap 25. Pretty certain Wagner has the pace. But if Jericho just controls the pace of Wagner, he can win this race. When will the first driver start pitting for the dry tires? Will there be any driver pitting for dry tires? The track looks damp, but we know on the F1 2021 game, the track might look damp, but it is good enough for the soft tires, or any dry tires. Now, Davey on the back of Sniper can't get past Sniper once again, as they both close up to Jelani in the Alpine. As Jericho, Wagner continues, Sunset continues, Jelani continues, Sniper continues, all drivers continue on their way. And now, Davey very close behind Sniper. Can he make a move? No, because Sniper is pushing as well. Sniper almost making a move himself on Jelani in P4. Remember, Davey, Jelani, Sunset, Yolmir and Mats all have time penalties. So, if the guys close up a bit more, Sniper might benefit from Sunset as well. As now RGBYT has crashed at the Tamborello chicane, yellow sector 2. He is out, but I think the Red Bull has been parked by the side of the road. And no safety car is going to happen now. As a few more laps are left in this race. Oh, it really looks dry now. Will the guys continue? I think they will. But a gambler might benefit from the soft tires. No, all cars continuing on their way. It might look like it's time to pit, but these drivers clearly think it's time to stay out. No DRS enabled as of yet, so that might be an indicator for the drivers that they are staying out. But P4 to P7 really close now in the race, as Davey is pushing Sniper to the limit. Might be a track limit that he got there. And crucial thing for Wagner, he is now 1.2 behind Jericho. So Jericho has gotten the gap up over 1 second. So if the DRS would be enabled in a few moments time, if that will happen, as the intermediates don't look as well as they should do at this point in the race. 2 of the 3 drivers of the train going off almost at Acqua Minerale. Liam gets a 3-second time penalty. Only a few drivers without time penalties. Oh no, as Davey gets into the back of Sniper Arctic. Jericho now sets the fast lap 23.5 on the inters. No DRS enabled yet. 4 drivers only without any time penalty, and the top 2 are 2 of them. Then Sniper and Otapa having no time penalties as well. I don't think the Aston Martin driver has any damage as Super Thomas heads into the pit lane. Let's look to the onboard of Super Thomas. Where will he go to? Yes, of course, a set of the soft tires. As Jelani has been overtaken by both Sniper and Davey. I think he made a mistake somewhere at the exit of the Villeneuve chicane. And that means Davey and Sniper are now promoted into P4 and 5. So Super Thomas exiting the pit lane. And we're coming to a point in the Grand Prix where some drivers don't even want to try to go for a set of the soft tires, if it's even good enough, because the laps are coming down as the grip seems to be there for Super Thomas. So will any of the drivers now head into the pit lane? No, the top 2 stay out. So let's look at the gap from Super Thomas to Liam. Pit lane at Imola, very long. As Wagner heads into the pit lane. So will the drivers, even though the soft tires might be faster at some point, now this is the crossover point, will some drivers choose to stay out because they think the soft tires won't catch up to them in time? We have 4 laps, including this lap, left in the Grand Prix. Ken, not getting past Otapa, still behind the Mercedes. As the intermediates are getting worse and worse for the current track conditions. But I think they're good enough to finish the race. Now, I don't think the drivers will pit anymore. As we see a lot of drivers going off track, these conditions are not ideal at all for the intermediate tires. Lani getting off track. Will anyone behind go into the pit lane? Jericho doesn't, Wagner doesn't. Jericho sets the fastest lap on the inter tire. Let's look at Wagner. He's 25 seconds now behind Liam on the inters. Can he gain enough time? I don't think he'll close the 25-second gap, although he closed a 1-second gap at the exit of the Variante Alta, and now the crucial point has come. DRS is enabled. So will Wagner benefit from his choice to go onto the soft compound? The inters, of course, not working at all in these conditions. But can these drivers keep it on track to complete the race? 2.5 laps left for the leader in the race. Davey once again gets a 3-second time penalty. Those inter tires not having the grip levels helping in getting more track limits. Jelani also gets a 3-second time penalty. Mats gets a 3-second time penalty. And Wagner now on the back of Jericho. Crucially, Wagner now having the DRS, because the DRS is now enabled. We have 2 laps left in the race. Wagner only having 1% of ERS, but can he gain that much back to place one final attack on Jericho in the final lap? He's closing up to 0.5 of a second on Jericho, 0.4 of a second even. But Liam into the pit lane. Liam into the pit lane for soft tires. I think that's a bit too late, Liam. If I were you, I would have stayed out. Oh, he's retiring from the Grand Prix. That's also an option. So Liam retiring from the Grand Prix. Coutinho not making the in-grounds that he would have liked to see. So I think the intermediate tires will do for the guys in front. But it's super difficult to keep the car on track in these conditions, as we said before. Jericho defending perfectly. Arctic defending perfectly for Davy behind, and Davy seems to go off. Jelani also off as well at Aqua Minerale. Mats is off at Aqua Minerale, has crashed. Yellow sector 1, 2 and 3 as Mick now sets the fastest lap on the soft tires. Things are really starting to kick off here, but Mick is far outside of the top 10. Oh no, Mats on the last, first to last lap. Second to last lap, crashing out at Aqua Minerale, and Wagner not having made the move on Jericho. So if Jericho can hold on a few more corners, he will win the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, but it's not that time yet. Wagner will do anything about it to stop Jericho from winning, as Davy once again gets 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Yellow sector 2, and that is because Mick is off at Aqua Minerale. He's of course a back marker and has to get out of the way of the leading pair. And the leading pair now out of that same Aqua Minerale corner. Wagner struggling on the inter tires, and I think all drivers are struggling on their tires. They both don't have any time penalty whatsoever, but Jericho has played the game perfectly. He heads into the Ravazza corner for the last time. Now exits the final corner and goes onto the straight to accelerate out of the final corner. And now winning the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Jericho wins the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Wagner in P2, Sunset in P3, completing the podium positions. And then we wait for Sniper Arctic in P4, Davy in P5. Oh, he heads off the track and into the gravel. And with the time penalties he has sunk down to P7. Joel Mir in P5, Otapa in P6, Ken in P8, Jelani in P9, Coutinho in P10 on his gamble strategy to go onto the soft tires. That hasn't paid off for him, but at least he sets the fastest lap time, which does award him 1 extra point if Super Thomas and Mick won't improve their lap time. Let's look at Super Thomas. For now, the fastest lap goes to Coutinho. Does it go to Super Thomas? No, it won't. And I think it won't go to Mick as well, because he has gotten a 3-second time penalty. So I don't think he'll take the fastest lap from the Ferrari teammates. And now it's fully dry condition, but that doesn't matter for Jericho. He's on the intermediate tires and has won the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And I hope you enjoyed the race. I did, at least. And I hope to see you again next week here in F2. Thank you for watching, and till the second time.